Hey friends, and welcome back to our channel. One thing Sloane and I are both huge fans of is history, and there is nothing I love more than learning the history of a place. In fact, I have a major in anthropology because I just love to learn how and why places came to be the way they are in modern day.
In today's video, we're going to be talking to you about all the history of Ogden and showing you the top 5 historical sites that are a must-see if you live in Ogden or if you're just visiting the area for the day. So stay tuned and we'll show you around.
If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in northern Utah and cities like Ogden, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in northern Utah.
We are Sloane and Kim Peterson with the Peterson Group. We've been in the real estate business for 10 years, and every day we help people just like you looking to buy, sell, or invest in northern Utah, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All the information's in the description below so we can help you make that smooth transition to northern Utah. Let's go ahead and get into it.
So Ogden really has one of the most riveting histories of the area and in all of Utah, in my opinion. Ogden was originally inhabited by the Shoshone and Ute Native American tribes. In 1845, Miles Goodyear established a fur trading post called Fort Buenaventura, attracting trappers, mountain men, and settlers. In fact, Fort Buenaventura is still around today and is now a state park with camping and day park use available all summer long.
I'm glad Kim said that because I'm definitely not even
difficult.
going to attempt saying that word. So yeah, that's a good one. It's really cool though. Like, so you can ride your bikes there, go camping, all that kind of stuff. So super crazy because when you're there, you actually can't even tell you're even in Ogden. It looks like you're in a totally different place. So
yeah, it's super pretty, beautiful part of Ogden City for sure.
So a couple of years later, in 1847, a group of Mormon pioneers led by Brigham Young arrived in the Salt Lake Valley. They recognized Ogden as a potential transportation hub, and they established the towns of Brownsville. This was later renamed Ogden in honor of Peter Skeen Ogden, which was a prominent fur trapper in the area. Now, what really threw Ogden into the spotlight, though, and earned its place on the map was the railroad era. In the late 19th century, Ogden became a vital transportation center due to the location at the junction at the Union Pacific and the Central Pacific Railroads. The completion of the first transcontinental railroad was in 1869 that further boosted Ogden's growth and its importance.
And now the funny thing is, I never even knew it was called Brownsville, so there's a little bit of Ogden history for you.
I didn't either, and I'm from Ogden, so that's definitely news that we learned when we were prepping for this video.
So cool. So that brings us to the first historical site and revamped area of 25th Street, once known as Two-Bit Street. 25th Street was a bustling area with saloons, brothels, and businesses catering to railroad workers. 25th Street was always known as being wild, even too wild for Al Capone, as the famous story goes. During Prohibition, mobster Al Capone stepped off a train in Ogden and took a stroll down the notorious 25th Street, scouting business opportunities. Scarface found dope dealing, prostitutes, thugs, thieves, and card sharks. It's rumored that Al said, "Ogden is too wild of a town, even for me." Now 25th Street has returned to its old glory with restaurants, bars, shopping, and even the Ogden Farmers Market being held down this popular street, minus some of the nefarious activities you might have found in the old days. If you are in Ogden, there's just no way you can spend the day here without at least stopping on 25th Street. The city has done a great job of restoring many of the old buildings to their former glory so that the history of the street can continue on while mixing in modern aesthetics such as street art. You can check out our Ogden vlog here if you want to see more of 25th Street.
Right, just a hop away is going to be the second historical site that you must check out while you're in Ogden, and that's going to be the Union Station. Obviously, the hub of Ogden's olden day popularity, the Union Station is a prominent landmark in Ogden, and it was built in 1924. It served as a major railway station, and it symbolized Ogden's connection to the rest of the country. The origin of Ogden Union Station was actually built in 1869 as a two-story wooden structure just above the banks at the Weber River. As the rail usage grew, a new larger structure was built in 1889, and that remained in place for decades until the fire in 1923 brought the building to a complete destruction. Though there are many rumors and ghost stories surrounding this catastrophe, there were no deaths or injuries reported. Union Station, as we know it today, was completed in 1924, and now it does house several museums, including the Utah State Railroad Museum, the John M. Browning Firearms Museum, and the Utah Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. Many of the museums were started in the 70s, and they've really become a part of the history of the station. You can also see concerts, visit the Winter Farmers Market, and you can rent out space for events and weddings. Outside, you're going to find a number of old rail carts that do really make for a great photo op. It's definitely one of the historical sites that is a must-see, and it's for sure rooted deeply in Ogden's history, making Ogden what it is today.
And speaking of ghosts, Ogden, because it is so historical, actually has a number of haunted sites, and they even do midnight ghost tours here. So if that's something up your alley, definitely check that out. Okay, so another historical site worth checking out while you're in Ogden is the Eccles Community Art Center. Now, David Eccles was one of the wealthiest men in Utah until he died in 1912, and you will see evidence of this spanning from Salt Lake to Ogden to Logan, as the family has really shaped the face of the state. Now, an interesting fact about the Eccles family and why they are featured in so many different areas of Utah is because at the time, polygamy in Utah was legal. It's not anymore. And David had 2 wives. Between the two, they had 21 children, and many of the different historical sites featuring the Eccles name were actually for each one of their children. The Eccles Art Center is located in a historic Victorian-era mansion built in 1893. Originally built and owned by James C. Armstrong, the home was sold to David and Bertha, his first wife, Eccles in 1896. They raised 12 children in the home, and the family lived there for several decades. In 1959, the house was converted into a community arts and cultural center. One of the reasons why this site is so important is because it was actually the family's home. It was Bertha's wish that the home always remain intact and used for the purpose of education and cultural development to the community of Ogden, and that's what it remains to this day.
So fourth on the list of historical sites, and one that you definitely have to check out, is going to be the Perry's Egyptian Theater. This theater was built in 1924. It's for sure a stunning example of the Egyptian revival architecture. It has hosted numerous vaudeville performances, movies, and live shows over the years. It was built as a movie palace, and the theater once showed first-run movies well into the early 1980s, but it eventually did close in 1984. The Egyptian underwent a complete restoration and reopened in January 17th of 1997 as a community performing arts center. Today, the theater boasts state-of-the-art technology that can accommodate live theater, dance music, symphonic and multimedia performances, as well as film. It's also available for general sessions and is conveniently connected to the Ogden Eccles Conference Center. The theater is home of several local performance groups, and it hosts various film and performance arts events throughout the year. With its status as a Sundance Film Festival venue and its constant bustle of activity, the Perry Egyptian Theater, it once again reclaims the title, the Showplace of the West. If you love architecture, the arts, or just beautiful places from the 1920s, then you definitely have to check out Perry's Egyptian Theater while you're in Ogden.
And I have to say, I really want to check out a Sundance Film Festival movie there. I think that would be so awesome.
Yeah, for sure, because usually it's a lot further away, so it's definitely the closest viewings of Sundance if you're in the Weber County area.
And wrapping up our historical places to visit is Ogden High School. I know that's kind of weird, but hear me out on this one. Ogden High School was established in 1849 and still exists as a high school today. Ogden High School was actually one of the first free education schools in Utah, with the local newspaper, The Standard, writing in 1889, Ogden has free schools, something that no other place in the Utah Territory can boast of. And by the way, the Standard Examiner is still Ogden's local newspaper. Ogden High School is listed on the National Register of Historical Places, Construction of the Art Deco style building began in 1937, and it was the first $1 million school in the entire United States. Ogden High School was the setting of fictional Weaver High School in the 1987 film 3 O'Clock High, and has appeared in many movies since, like the 1999 hit Drive Me Crazy. In the mid-2000s, the school underwent substantial renovations to restore its original grandeur. The beautiful building and grounds are definitely worth a stop if you are in the Ogden area. So I know it's weird to visit a high school, but for historical value and for architectural beauty, it's definitely one to check out.
All right, guys, that wraps up our tour of some of Ogden's historical sites. We hope that you enjoyed the little look into Ogden's history and some of the cool places our city has to offer. Whether you're just visiting in Ogden or you live here, these are definitely some of the top places that make Ogden City so unique, and they are definitely worth the visit.
Picking where you'll call home is an important decision, and we would love to help you make that smooth transition to cities like Ogden, Utah and the surrounding areas. If you're looking to purchase in the northern Utah area, we'd love to help you out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and until next time, we're keeping it real. Estate.